Should men pay 100% of the bills? I was watching this debate. I came across my screen. I haven't seen a good debate in a while. So I decided to take a listen. And I said, let me do a live reaction because this thing, we're just going to deal with one question today, which is should men pay 100% of the bills? This debate is quite entertaining. It is coming from the Hardly Initiated channel, okay? And yeah, I'm gonna listen and stop along the way because it was just too entertaining for me. I said, let me come on this channel and share my thoughts, especially because they brought up a biblical narrative, right? So let's listen. Hold on, let me go ahead and share my screen. Hold on one second. And once again, greetings and welcome back once again. My apologies. This is Amuna, and I pray everybody is doing well. So let's go ahead and listen in and do a reaction to this debate.
Have it. So let's actually move straight into it. I want to move into the first topic of discussion for tonight, okay? Because this is one of the most polarizing conversations online. One of the biggest talking points that you Yada have, and I've heard you dive into this conversation many times before as well, Anton. Let's talk about it. Should men be expected to cover 100% of the bills?
Pause. And as he said, if you look back, I did many videos when the manosphere was at its height, and blue pill and red pill and all of these very polarizing debates that I think, is destroying the fabric of the community. But that's another story. So he says key things, because this is a debate, right? Should the man be expected to pay 100% of the bills? Right? That's a perspective. That's something that's personalized. But we're going to continue to listen. I don't think the people who are answering fully heard the question. Is expectation. But let's continue.
This is a major stressor to a lot of brothers out here. Mm-hmm. A lot of brothers out here split between this.
And so then not only is the host posing the question, he's coloring the question too, which gives it a spin and a bias, especially because he's not the person in this quote unquote debate. But let's listen.
The brothers say that's absolutely insane to cover 100% of the bills. And a lot of other, the ladies are saying that this is a must. I must get a brother to cover 100% of the bills. So let's bring some clarity to this, Yada. I'm gonna have you open up the conversation here. Should men be expected to cover 100% of the bills?
So this is not, because they're gonna later on go into biblical narrative. This is talking about society, expectation, climate, financial status today, what's happening in this space and time, which makes the conversation confusing when you try to go for other things and other cultures and other time periods. But I'm going to continue. And as you know, I have to stop it along the way. So welcome, sit back. If you want to watch the fullness of it, you can click the link and watch the full debate.
First, I want to say all praise is due to the Most High, and I want to pray real quick if you don't mind.
Let's go.
Listen, this prayer had me hollering. It's not funny, but yo, this prayer had me hollering. The people in the comment section hollering. This prayer is wild.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, strengthen me and guide me. Allow God to speak through me. Allow it to electrify the room and remove all dusty demons from the table. All praises due.
It's not. Did he sub the man? I get it. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all know I like to do the research. Sometimes I just like to relax my mind and, see what is going on in the world. Did he put the removal of dusty demons in his prayer? And he did it with a straight face. Let me continue. I'm sorry. And the co-host, his opponent is like, who is he talking to? But let me continue. That was wild. Sorry.
Amen and amen.
So when you getting up there?
All praises due to God.
Even the hosts are laughing. Like, Yada started off on some stuff. He was, in the infamous words of Kevin Samuels, he was on one, okay? he started off on some stuff.
1 year later.
Off the chain.
Now, what's the question, brother?
right.
What's the question?
So the question is,
When he leave.
What's the question?
should men be expected to cover 100% of the bills?
I believe if men are claiming to be providers, and we know that means to take care of whoever's under you, that he should provide 100%. While
So out the gate, he seemingly answers the question. If men are claiming, so it's putting things into perspective, to be this provider, then yes, he's expected to cover 100% of the bills that are associated essentially with the household. Now, his opponent's face while he's talking, again, you're going to have to watch this, but mercy.
we're doing this, this gives the woman time and space, not just to be great for the man, but also great for the children. And I want to use myself for example.
So he answered the question. One would say in a debate, he answers the question and then he supports his answer with, in this case, an example, which he's going to, of course, use himself. Because if you've heard him in other spaces, then, he uses himself and his personal life a lot as an example, right? So I would say as it relates to a debate, I don't know if it's what type of debate this is. I would say, okay, boom, he answered the question, right? But let's continue to listen.
I provide 100% for my woman. My son, he's only 5 years old, and he was tested 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. 2 days ago, he's only in kindergarten, but he tested at a 4th grade level. Why is that? Because I handle my responsibility, providing, and providing isn't just financial. Any man off the street can walk to a woman and give her money.
So he's expanding the question now. The actual question is 100% of the bills, right? He's expanding that into providing other things and providing in other ways. So for me, listening to this debate, he has a position and he's saying that if he shows up in this way, then the woman whose first responsibility when in this context, from what I'm getting, is to make sure that the children are adjusted and they have what they need, right? He has to be able to do his job. And let's continue.
Providing is elevating a woman mentally, elevating a woman spiritually, emotionally. This is what it means to provide for a woman. Not just, here's some money, run off with it. No. Let me elevate you. Let me bring you closer to your God. Let me set standards in your life. If your father gave you to me, you are my responsibility.
So he starts getting preachy. He starts getting a little bit like, he's doing a YouTube video from in front of his house. Like he's getting preachy, which I don't know if in the beginning part of this conversation that he needed to necessarily go there. He chose to go there. And this may be what throws off the response, but let's follow his train of thought.
From the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, I'm going to love everything about you 100%. And if I can't.
So he's into love. This question wasn't about love. So if you were grading the debate, if you're there and saying, okay, who wins the debate? He's going into other areas. Like the question isn't about love. The question is about, should men pay 100% of the bills? And this is just an example also in communication. We don't communicate effectively when we don't answer the question that's on the table, right?
Can't do that. I'm not a man. I'm a male.
Oopsie.
How not to pay off your credit cards.
Wait a minute.
I owe $20,000 on my cards. How fast can I pay these off with minimum payments? 109 months, so you'll pay about 20.
And that's a difference.
So now he puts an indictment. Like, remember, this is where ego could come in too. So he's saying, if you don't do that, and if you can't show up in this way, right? And the people in the comments, the women are like, yes, yada. Preach king, right? So right now, as they said in the beginning, this is a very polarizing conversation. And so if he can't do that, he makes an indictment on the man that he's not a man. And in fact, he's a male. Essentially, from what I got, yes, he should pay 100% of the bills. And if he doesn't do so effectively, then he's not a man, he's a male. So for all that don't agree with that or not in that position, of course, they're going to take offense. So let's continue.
That's your one
Man,
track.
talk to me, brother.
No.
Talk to me, brother.
Nope.
Talk to me,
That's
brother.
not what we're going to do today.
So now, how is he said what he needed to say, and normally it would be the other person's turn, but he's over there, egging him on, and it's clear that the other guy, Anton, has a lot to say, but now he's trying to take back control. And honestly, to give him a point for being still, he was still, he listened to what he was saying, and now he's making an attempt to respond.
Talk to me, brother.
So this is what we're going to do.
Talk to me, brother.
Because he's like Kamala Harris right now.
Talk to me, brother.
So it's interesting. When was this video done? Like 2 weeks ago. So that whole conversation about presidency wasn't determined yet, but that would be an ad hominem attack, right? One would say he didn't say that Anton wasn't a man. He said this is Yada. He's saying that if the man doesn't provide, then he's a male and not a man. And Anton's first response is an ad hominem, something that's used to personally attack him, maybe because he felt offended. But that would have been a strike on the play. Like, listen, answer the question. How are you coming back to answer the question by likening him to a woman, Kamala Harris? Which, as the audience would receive, I'm the audience member, like he's trying to insult him, which has no place in, people debate dirty, but I'm just saying it would have made more sense to come out answering the question that's on the table. But let's continue.
And I've heard all of these talking points.
Talk to me.
And I don't even study him because he says the same thing over and over again.
Talk to me.
You got to control yourself because that's
brother.
not.
Yeah. Why does he keep telling him to talk to him? He can't if you keep talking. It's a rap battle. I don't know why I found this quite entertaining. Let's listen.
Manly.
Talk to me, brother.
You got to control yourself.
Brother, talk to me, brother.
So you see how I was quiet
Talk to
when
me.
you were speaking?
No, you cut me off, but go ahead, brother.
I didn't say anything.
He did not cut him off. He did say he was quiet as a church mouse. He did not cut that man off. He was quietly waiting. He had some facial expressions, but he was quietly waiting for him to finish. So let's continue.
You got it, brother. There you go.
I was quiet when you were speaking.
Go ahead, brother.
And so now we're going to add nuance. Now we're going to add.
How could we add nuance when he didn't answer the question? How could you shade when there's no outline? Like, it's a debate. You're supposed to answer the question, but he's entering the arena saying you don't agree with him, but you're adding nuance. But you didn't explicitly state your position, which I think is weird. And as you're watching it becomes a little bit like confusing. Like, answer first and then shade. Like my art teacher told me one time, you're not shading enough in the lines.
Context. So, first thing we have to do is we have to ask ourselves the question: what does it mean to be a man?
That is not the question on the table. Should men pay 100% of the bills? So not only is he disregarding the conversation, and this is something that people used to do all the time. Back in the day, I used to host a show similar, well, in the sense of broaching very important but polarizing topics. And I was a host for a very long time. And it used to irk me when people did this. There is a question on the table, but the person does not want to directly answer the question. And so they'll say stuff like the question should be, the better question is, no, you are not the person who put this together. Harley initiated is the people, the host of the show are who wrote the question. And it behooves you, y'all know one of my favorite words, to answer the question on the table. So this is his attempt to enter the discussion and to redirect the conversation, to divert it from what it is to what he wants it to be, right? So I found that interesting. Answer the question first and then go into your nuances, right? But let's continue.
Because being manly has nothing to do with a woman.
So he's answering. You could see he took offense to what Yada says, that if you don't provide 100%, then you are not a man, right? So he is responding to Yada and not responding to the table, the question on the table.
It has nothing to do with pandering. It has nothing to do with just providing. Being a man means being purposeful.
What's the name of this logical fallacy again? Oh, yes, moving the goalpost. I don't like where this goalpost is. It's not getting enough sunlight, not enough breeze. It's not facing the east. Let me go ahead and move this goalpost. So one would, if I stopped it right here, and why does Yada have this smirk on his face? If I stopped it right here, I would be like, is this it? This is what we got now? Because we're not answering the question. I know I'm going to come in here with a fine tooth comb, with my analytical mind to really, because sometimes we get all in the hype and the back and forth, and we're like, yeah. And I'm like, but wait a minute, we didn't answer the question. Are we going back? Eventually he gets around in a roundabout way, but let's continue.
That's what being a man is. That means that whatever it is that I seek from God, because my purpose is not a woman.
Okay, and this redefinition, this is why on here, when we were talking about what is white, what is black, what is this, what is that, a working definition is not a subjective definition. So Yada presents his subjective definition of what a man is, and Anton presents his subjective definition of what a man is, and then we're all in the land of subjectivity. What a man is not subject to what you feel a man is. If we want to be honest, we have to look at what is a man versus what is a woman. What is a man? But he's into what he feels a man should do, how he feels a man should show up. But a man, or as the Bible tells you, Adam or Ish, is very specific, right? If we're talking about anatomy, if we're talking about function, if we're talking about purpose, it's very different from what people have become in this day and time. So I don't agree with the subjectivity of the matter, but let's continue.
A woman is a helpmeet. So when he panders to you guys,
we are just not going to answer the question, huh?
ladies, remember, I don't know what he's selling. I don't know what product that he has.
Again, personal ad hominem attacks. Now, all outside of the dusty demon prayer, right, which probably set him off, understandably, he did come out, if we're going to be fair, with the sub. He subbed him early on in the thing. So now he feels the need to defend himself, right? And so now, even though he doesn't know him and he doesn't know what he's selling, he's now not even paying attention to the host, not even really paying attention to the opponent. He's turning his attention. He's appealing to the audience. This is Anton now. He's appealing to the audience to say, listen, to me, I'm on your side. I'm trying to tell you what you need to hear because it's clear that this man is pandering. Is this a debate, or is this what is going on here? What is going on here? Let me continue.
But my goal is to get you married.
What does that? Somebody named Regina, shout out to her. She said, Anton, can you answer the question? Can you answer the question? Some people are able to see through it. We are here for a debate. Should men pay 100% of the bills? Yes or no? Why or why not? But the question is not being answered. And we're getting a little bit of tap dancing, Sammy Davis Jr., going on here. And it's like kind of, I understand maybe you want to appeal to warn women about him, but that will kind of be, I know that it goes on for about 2 hours, but in the beginning, if I walked away from this, I'll be like, well, somebody don't want to pay bills, right?
My goal is to have you married based off of what God says is sanctified, right? I don't want y'all divorced.
How do we get here? How did we get here? Anton's not supposed to be here. Why is he talking about divorce when the question is, should men pay 100% of the bills? I know that finances lead to divorce, right? But how did we get here? How do we get here? How did we get here?
I don't want you unequally yoked. I don't want you to be a single baby mama. I don't want you shooting your shot in the dark.
But not laugh. This is not funny. This is a very important topic. But the way they look, and I'm sorry, let me give y'all a close up really quickly at the way they look when the other person is talking. Let me just quickly show the way he's looking when the other person is talking. I can't fully, do the whole video and play the whole thing, but merciful Father, why does Yada's face look like that? Like he has so much to say, but he just won't. So Anton is going into, girl, I want to save you, girl. I'm here for you, girl. I want you married. And all of that's great. But all of that has nothing to do with, the question that's on the table. And so Nana says, that's not the question. We're asking about bills. And what we're getting is the Watutsi. We're getting the Watutsi.
Dark, thinking that this guy is giving you insight when he's just giving you talking points with no real substance behind it. And here's the context. At what age do you want to be married? Do you put yourself in a position to find the person that's best for you? Has your father given you away? Does your parents actually see value in the person that is looking to marry you? And when you start to ask yourself these questions, and I don't speak to just rich people because we both have money, we both have resources. So let's remove that from the table. I speak to the majority.
Why are we removing it when that's the question? Why are we removing it when that's the question? Is this the rebuttal round or is the state your position round? I used to actually be the host of a debate talk show. So that's why I'm a little bit confused. I'm like, as the host, I would be like, pardon me, the host is in the back, not even saying nothing. Like, I don't mean to intercept. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to interrupt, but excuse me, can we get back to the topic?
Not the minority. And when you are 20, 21, 22 years old, especially if you are a person that's looking to become a man, you are supposed to fail in controlled environments, meaning that your father is not even supposed to give you everything. He's supposed to give you what you need in order to be successful. My father was able to buy me a car, but he told me that I had to earn it and work for it because I valued it more, which then extended to every single thing that I touch, including the woman. See, my wife is here.
Merciful Father. Let me look up the list of the amount of logical fallacies I just had to endure in the first. But I'm gonna make him talk while I look up the list. Hold on.
My wife travels with me. She knows me. She understands me, right? And so at 20, 21, 22 years old, you supposed to be broke. Unless you're doing something that
But also at 21, 22, and 23 years old, that broke man in what Yada has said. And why does he have the product perfectly placed? Why does he have Apple and Eve perfectly placed in front of him? And the man is out here hustling. Every day he hustling. Listen, when you look at cultures, African, different cultures, Indian culture, when you look, and I know it's not a monolith, but in many of these cultures, this young man who's learning to become financially viable, he is not entitled as yet to a wife. He cannot approach the family. Like he said, did the parents accept you? In those cultures, he knows that until he makes himself, like they say, a big boy, he's a big man. He can't come to the people them for them data, because the question is, how are you going to feed her? The very primary things. How are you going to maintain her? Where are your children going to live? So in this time period, what he's doing is conflating these very two different things, because we live in a unique structure where a lot of that culture has deteriorated because of the experience. And one is to think that the woman is going to come along when he's struggling and suffering, and struggle and suffer with him. That's not, if we talk culturally, that's not how they did things culturally. Is that how they're doing things today? Well, that's a different story. But we still trying to figure out, should men pay 100% of the bills? I'll know Anton must talk for about 7 minutes and I'll know we're not getting an answer. And there should be a time limit also. There should be if this is a debate and an orderly one, there should be a time limit on the first round. Answer the question, rebuttal round. It all should be very orderly time limits. People shouldn't just be allowed to just run amok. But what do I know? Let's continue.
You ain't supposed to do in order to get it. You're supposed to be building. You're supposed to be understanding each other. It's a storming, a norming, a forming situation. And in no circumstance do you ever come into it fully understanding who the person is, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. And so when
what's the people in my ball, answer the question. I'll know we can't get the question.
we start to look at what God has ordained to be great, the purpose of a man, it's not just to give spirituality and leadership, and it's to understand. The first thing that the word says, and everything that you do, you get understanding. And everything you do, you get understanding. I don't even know her. I don't even know you. Everybody is out.
Does it say in everything you do, you get understanding? I think that's not what it says. It doesn't say in everything. I think he rephrasing it. I know he's excited. It says with all that you get. It's telling you to seek wisdom, but with all that you get understanding. Hold on, let me make sure, because I know he didn't throw it out there, but let me go ahead and throw it out there. Hold on. It's in Proverbs, right? It says Proverbs 4:7, the beginning of wisdom. Wait, hold on. Let me. Solomon, because he first asked, contextually, Solomon is the one who first asked for wisdom, right? And I don't want to misquote him, so hold on. 4:7. Wisdom is supreme. So acquire wisdom, because wisdom is the first. He asked for wisdom to rule the people. But he says, and whatever you may acquire, gain understanding. Because one could be wise to do good, to do evil. It doesn't always mean that you're wise to do good, right? But you have to understand, which comes in the future. Understanding comes in the future. You get the knowledge, you get the wisdom, and then you go, oh, okay, now I understand. But what does this have to do with paying 100%? I don't know. I was trying to help the brother out, trying to give him an alley-oop, but I don't know. Let's continue.
Here dating everybody, running around, everybody doing everything. They're giving themselves to each other.
I thought it was just me. Somebody named Francita said, we need a timer. Sheena says, I'm confused. When will this guy answer the actual question? So imagine you're having a discussion. This is someone who's speaking for them to be heard, not for you to understand, right? Because he's answering things that didn't nobody ask. He's all over the place. He's fragmented. He's trying to save the women from single motherhood. And it's like, broski. And the entire time, y'all is sitting there like, did you answer the question yet, bro?
We think that money or resources or what you can do or what you can offer a person is supposed to make up for all of the insecurities and the problems and the issues.
I'm sorry. I'm reading these comments. They said word salad. So he starts off accusing him of being Kamala Harris. And now the audience is like, bro, you over there making a Caesar's word salad right now, right? You over there putting ranch on this situation. And we need a timer, because how long is this debate about to be? I'm only going to do this question. If y'all enjoying this, let me know. Hit the like and subscribe. And I will come back and I guess do another question. I don't know if they ever get to the other question, but let's go.
Issues that you have in your childhood, what have you solved for? Right? Do you have problems in your childhood? Do you even have a father? Do you know what it means to be a man? It's a lot of women that's raising men to be feminine because they're in single parent households, right? How does that look?
Homie is putting everything plus the kitchen sink in the one. Yo, brethren, you're going to get our next chance for answer, you know? Everything plus the kitchen sink in this response here.
Look, what does it look like when you get into a situation with a woman that has a child out of wedlock already, and then she still has to deal with the father?
How did we get, again, Deborah Cox, where can I get, how did we get here? How did we get here and why? Hello? Just tell her, say, you know, want to get her the money. It would have done long time and she would have go start a YouTube channel or something, because this is too much.
How do you deal with that?
By answering the question.
See, these are the questions that he can't answer for you, because the only thing he talks about is pandering. I'm talking about context. I'm talking about substance. I'm talking about spirituality. I'm talking about praying together. I'm talking about
everything except for that question. I'm talking about everything except for, and the I don't mean to, you know, wow, this video is 29 minutes. My response to the question is 29 minutes, and we haven't gotten it. And part of this is the hosts need to kind of step in. The hosts need to kind of step in and kind of pull the reins in a little bit. But let's continue.
Building You're supposed to get married when you're young because it prevents you from sinning and finding yourself with all of these bodies and these soul ties that ultimately carry with you for the rest of your life.
So he's speaking directly to the women about getting young when they're married, but that's not what the question is about.
And then you start to see every single man, and you can't take it out of your memory with the person that you wind up being with. Most women have skipped over the man that they're supposed to be with because they didn't have the guidance, because they didn't have the spirituality. They don't know the word of God. And so it's easy to just say, oh yeah, just provide 100%. What happens when life happens and you 22, 23, 24?
So based on that statement, I'm led to believe he doesn't agree with providing 100%, because that's what I'm led to. He didn't state it explicitly, and hopefully he does, like in the next like 2 minutes. But I'm led to believe at this juncture that he has an issue with the 100% situation.
4 years old and you get married. The economy messed everybody up. Everybody that thought that they had it, guess what? You got a plan, and then God has a plan.
What are you talking about? The crash of 2008? Like, what are we talking about again? Now I'm confused. What is the question?
What happened to the character? Why you don't talk about character?
Hold on, and Anton, just
Why a little horse says something for horse? Where have you been, friend? Where have you been? The host finally wakes up after how many minutes? Almost 12 minutes, and finally decides to say something.
No, hold on. Why he don't talk about character? Because what I teach my daughter, I'm a reflection of the man that I would want my daughter to marry.
Well, I've gone to him.
I don't tell my daughter to go and look for a guy to provide for her. I tell my daughter to go and look for a guy that's believing in God, that has good character. That actually worships and looks for and focuses on his purpose, because everything else falls in line. The money is going to come. We so busy chasing money.
Again, the problem is culturally, historically, the man could not come for the daughter that he speaks of until he had shown himself financially viable. Not only did he have to show it in what they can see, he had to come with gifts. He had to come to the woman's family. He's not buying a wife, he's not buying a woman, but a bride price. He had to come with something to show that he can afford to take on the responsibility of that woman and subsequently that family. I don't know what all of this dancing is about. It's really straightforward. Now, if you want to talk about today and the adjustments that has to be made because of the climate, that's different.
Money, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. You don't have to chase money. You don't have to look to women to provide for them, because if you're naturally that, if you're raised up in the admonition of your father, which is what God has ordained for you to do, you don't have to worry about that. That's naturally in you. And so, yes, absolutely, she should be purposeful. And her purpose at that time could be raising the children, depending on if y'all got children. Her purpose at that time could be out there and bringing in resources because she's learning a new skill that can then translate into the company that y'all build together. It's a lot of nuance and a lot of context. But I hate it when people pander to women because they leading y'all astray. And it sounds like I'm a harsh father. It sounds like it's a difficult situation. It sounds like you're just supposed to be given everything. But if that's the case, then why are we as a society, why are we as a people, as black people in particular, so far behind, and we further behind than we ever been, even though we the free?
Part of the reason is because we lack the ability to communicate effectively. I've said this for many years. We've lost that ability. Right? And it's displayed at this juncture, because effective communication, problem resolution, healthy debate helps to build and to navigate around issues so that they can be resolved and you come back stronger and continue to build. So if everyone is only speaking to be heard and not trying to understand the room, not reading the room and understanding, that's part of the problem, because communication is the core to all of this. And he's illustrating it right now. I don't care what the conversation is. I don't care what the host is asking me. I don't care. I just want to say everything I want to say at this very moment, because I'm not going to have another opportunity to say it. And I'm going to dump everything in the kitchen sink because I was offended at this comment. It's like, wait a minute, brother. If you're trying to reach the people, effective communication, active listening is part of it. So, what I'm getting from this particular part of this conversation is that he was listening to respond. And he took this 13 minutes to rebuttal and more. And,
And we have the opportunity to choose for ourselves. This isn't God. Ain't none of this what he talking about God right now. And I ain't even studied him. I ain't even getting started. I'm gonna let you cook. Go ahead, do
Well,
your
hold on,
thing.
wait. So, but I want
no, sir. After all of that, no, am I going to let him cook? He got to lose a point for that first round, bro. You got to lose a point, and the host lose a point too, because y'all should have been butt in and got this thing back right. But let's continue respectfully.
clarity before we move on.
Go ahead, let's get-
because when we talk
You see, you hear the host? Like, wait a minute. Can we get some clarity?
about should men pay 100% of the bills, I'm assuming that means based on the context that you just gave.
It's based
that
off
men-
of your circumstance and situation. Everyone is different, and nobody is a monolith.
My brother.
So shouldn't you have said that in the beginning? You should have came out the gate before you gave us nuance and colored between the lines. You should have told us from the rip so that we wouldn't be here like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? I'm just going to listen to a little bit more. And again, if you want me to hear this next question, I don't even know what the next question is or how long it's going to be, but we can do that next time.
Nobody is
My
a monolith.
Okay,
I
let's go, Yada.
love how he put so much passion into his words. But when God created man, God gave man a purpose. And what was the purpose? What was the purpose? He placed that man in a garden. What's this? That's a tree. What's this? Those are clouds. What's that? That's a sky. What's that? That's a bear.
That's not what
And
happened.
listen to
You
me.
don't even know the
Man,
word of
listen.
God.
No, them are gonna fight. No, them are gonna fight over Bible study. Actually, he put him in the garden to dress and to keep it. Okay, to dress and to keep it. That's what he put him in the garden to do. His occupation was a husbandman. He was to dress and to keep the garden. That was his job. He was a farmer. Okay, so yeah.
Listen to me.
You don't even know the word of
Listen
God, but
to me,
I'ma let you
brother.
cook.
Listen to me. And when God seen that he was fit
No, you have a microphone, sir. Why are you yelling? We can't hear you.
to represent himself as a man, he put him to rest. And from that rib,
Finally.
Finally, you know what? I think they're going to go into another topic. I'm going to go ahead and stop here on that question. I think we got somewhat of an answer, right? After 37 minutes that in his view, it depends, right? Let me wait, hold on. Let me see. I think there was a little bit more. Let me get rid of this commercial here real quick. And then let me get rid of this commercial and see if they wrap it up.
he took Eve. Now, this is a fact. Now we have to understand, what does it mean when you create a woman from the rib? What is a rib?
And they kind of jumped, you know. Yeah, I think they're deviating a little bit, so I'm gonna stop it right here. He didn't just, you know, after he finished it, he said it's not good that man should be alone. I will make woman over against him, like Isaiah Kanibdo, a help that's over against him to balance him out, right? Because he was this, the masculine and feminine energy was encompassed in this according to the text, Adam, right? And so he separated over against it so it can balance itself out. And not it, meaning mankind. But again, they're going into another direction. So I'm going to leave it right there. I just thought that was quite entertaining. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And we'll come back once again. Everybody have a blessed day. Let me go ahead and run my little commercial. If you haven't already gotten Island Twist, I am an author, among other things. Let me go ahead and run my commercial here for Island Twist, available on Amazon today. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so. The links are in the description. We thank you for your time. Have a blessed day. Island Twist follows Jackie Brown, a young girl who finds herself head over heels for the new island boy at school in fresh outer yard, and Jackie has the fever. But as she navigates the ups and downs of her new crush, things quickly spiral out of control when her not so secret admirer becomes determined to sabotage her relationship. So check out the new novel Island Twist over on Amazon today. Now back to the story. We already know what to do to support the channel. Like, subscribe, and share. That is free. But if you want to support the work beyond all of the information, all of the knowledge, the deep research that I drop, my passion is giving back to the community, educating on all fronts. And I have this campaign up. If you would like to support, scan the GoFundMe so that I can bring these health education classes to children in the state. Also, if you just want to go ahead and be like, I just want to cash app you, go ahead and cash app the Yummy Cottage, the Yummy Cottage. And again, PayPal for those like I don't have PayPal or I don't have Cash App. Listen, you can Cash App it, PayPal, or you can just go over to the yummycottage.com and we have a donate